Hello, my name is Jem, and today I'd like to share with you how I lived my life for the past 3 years. I lived my life by faith as a missionary. And when people ask me, so what missionary are you working under at? Or what ministry are you working for? And that's the funny thing because I'm not involved in a particular or specific missionary or mission field for that matter, or even a ministry. I have been a missionary volunteer for the past 3 years, and I've seen the hand of the Lord leading in each and every path that I take, because it's not me who's taking the path, it's the Lord who's leading me to take those paths. And when people ask me, so you have been traveling for how many countries already? And then I counted in my fingers, and I saw and I discovered that I have been traveling to 6 countries for the past 3 years. And they asked me, so how do you support yourself? And my answer is, I'm not the one supporting myself. It's God supporting me. I said, really? I said, no, tell me, how do you really support yourself? And since I'm involved in the prayer ministry, I just tell them, I pray, and God answers. And then they say, yes, you pray, but you should have a sponsor. And then I tell them, God is my sponsor. And they said, what? God is your sponsor? No, there must be somebody who sponsors you. And I told them, you know what? This is what my deal with God is. And I guess most of you are familiar with George Mueller. George Mueller has set up a lot of institutions. He had hospitals, orphanages, schools perhaps, and I was inspired by him because he did not bring his concern to any other people except to God. Because he says, if God answers and provides the amount needed or any need that he has without asking for any other people, for sure he knows that it comes from God. So I made a deal with God, and I said to the Lord, Lord, if you want me to be a missionary, if you want me to go somewhere else, my deal with you is I just kneel, I just bend my knees, and I ask you directly. And if you answer, for sure I will know that the answer comes from you. And you know what? That has been happening for the past 3 years. And when I look at the places that I have been to, it's a humbling experience because you know what? I could have never been to those places without God's grace. There was one previous experience that has really proven how great my God is, our God is. My friends invited me, they encouraged me. They said, Jem, you know what? You should apply to AFCO, Amazing Facts. And I said, yes, I will apply to Amazing Facts because here in the Philippines, I help organize Amazing Facts. Now, I'm not the one organizing it. I'm just one of the helpers. So I said, Ed, Amazing Facts is just in front of our house. It's just like 50 meters or 30 meters away from my doorstep. So my friends asked me, he said, yes, sure, I will go to Amazing Facts because it's just in front of our house. No, not Amazing Facts in the Philippines, Amazing Facts in the States. And I said, oh, that's quite impossible. And I said, why? Because I don't have a visa. And for us Filipinos to secure a US visa, it's nearly impossible. And then they said, Jem, remember, for the past 2 years, the Lord has been leading you. The Lord has been guiding your path. And now you are doubting Him? And I said, well, okay, let's see what happens. If the Lord wills it, then be it. And this is funny because sometimes we say, yeah, if it's God's will, then everything will turn out the way it should be. We say those words, but most of the time we don't believe it. And for me, and for that matter, and during that time, I have a hard time believing it. So you know what I did? I bent my knees. And since I'm in the prayer ministry, I better make use of prayer. So I bent my knees and I said, Lord, if it's your will for me to go to the US, then please make it clear for me. Open the doors for me. But this is the beautiful thing with God. He does not open the door so wide. He just opens just a little peek, and then He gives you little confirmations that He wants you to make the next step with a little provision that He has. And what happened was, there was this time for the interview for the US visa. And I had this huge fear of what to say during the interview, because I don't have an employer, I don't have a bank account, I don't have anything. So I prayed, Lord, please give me the right words to say to the US consul. And I didn't have any words to say. So I was struggling with God. I was fighting my way to God, and I said, Lord, this is a wrong decision. And then you know what? The Lord assured me. The Lord calmed me down. And the Lord just gave me peace. And the Lord reminded me of how He has been so good to me in the past. And then the interview came. And then I was asked the very first question, how much is your monthly income? And then I said, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't have a monthly income. I don't have an income. I said, why is that? I'm a missionary volunteer. So I don't get paid for my work. I said, how do you live? And I said, I live by faith, sir. And then he was quite confused and somehow quite irritated. And then he asked the next question, then how do you provide for yourself? How do you buy your food? How do you pay for your rent? And how do you buy your clothes? And I said, the Lord provides, sir. And then he became even more confused. And then he looked at my passport. How about these stamps here in your passport? You have traveled a lot. How do you pay for this? And I said, I bend my knees, I pray to God, and I ask Him to use other people to pay for my way, to pay for my fare. And that's how I get that's how I get to travel. I said, okay, that's acceptable. But how about hotels? How about how about your food? Because when you go there, it's not cheap. And I said, sir, I live in their homes and they feed me. I said, okay. And how about emergencies? Do you encounter emergencies? I said, yes, sir, I encounter emergencies. So how do you pay for emergencies? And I said, somehow, sir, the Lord provides the right amount of money for the right amount of emergencies. I said, so you're telling me now that you are receiving money for emergencies? And then I said, wow, it's quite a trap. And then I said, yes, sir, somehow, yes, I receive money for emergencies. And then he just told me, you just told me that you don't receive any money for your work, and now you are receiving money for emergencies? Explain. And then this is the good thing when we ask for the Lord's guidance. The Lord gave me peace and the Lord gave me the answer. And I told him, sir, what you are asking is a regular monthly income. But emergencies, sir, are not regular. And after I said those words, he gave a big sigh. And then he just told me. And he did not say anything, by the way. And then I looked at his face, and his face looked so confused, looked so irritated. And then he blurted, I was convicted to say something. And then I told him, sir, you know what? I just want to be honest with you. I don't want to give you an amount that I don't earn, and I don't want to give you a bank statement that I don't have. I just want to come clean, sir. I don't receive anything. I work for free, and I'm a missionary volunteer. And then he just told me. And he gave a big sigh. And then I remember this. Before I end this thing, I remember this. Because a lot of people, when they apply for US visa, they have a hard time proving that they earn this much. They have a hard time proving that this is their property, to prove that they are financially stable. And now with my case, I have a hard time proving that I'm broke. I have a hard time proving that I don't earn anything. It is quite the opposite of what's supposed to happen. And then this consul gave a big sigh. He said, tell me now, how do I fill in this section? monthly income. And then I just told him, sir, honestly, I don't know. I don't know, sir. And then he said, okay, monthly income, not applicable. Monthly income, not applicable. And then you know what? This person just told me, okay, sir, congratulations. Your application has been approved. And you know what? I could not believe what I just heard. So I was there looking at him and I said, huh? And then he said, congratulations. Your application has been accepted. You will receive your visa in 5 days' time. It will be mailed to your home. I said, oh, sir, thank you so much. I left the embassy and I was on my phone. I was crying. I was calling my sister. And I told my sister, sis, I got my visa. Praise the Lord. And she was crying on the other line and said, praise God. Praises be to God. And you know what? Before I even stepped up, before I had the interview, the Lord just had this impression in my mind. And I was impressed with his thoughts. That the Lord spoke to me. And what he said was, Jem, if ever you get your visa approved, the only reason for that is because I want my name to be glorified. You don't have anything. You don't have anything to your name. You don't have a bank account. You don't have an employer certificate. You don't have anything. And what I brought was just my passport. And that just goes to show, brothers and sisters, that when we realize that we don't have anything, then we will fully understand that God is our everything. And praises be to God, because our God has thousands of ways to provide for us, of which we know nothing. Of which we know nothing. We serve a powerful God. So my friends, this is just a clip. This is just a foretaste of what the Lord has been doing in my life. This is just the beginning of my blind adventures with God. And you know what? The Lord has a lot more. And I have a lot more experience walking with God by faith. And all because of Him. Praises be to His name. Thank you for listening. And I pray that the same experience that I have will be the same experience that you will have. Because we serve the same God. We serve a powerful God. We serve an amazing God. Thank you.